So hello, my name is Joseph Sabbagh and I'm a specialist in restorative dentistry and endodontics, and I practice in Lebanon and in Belgium. So today we will discuss a very interesting topic that is kind of our daily practice, and that is how to create a mock-up that is a base for any aesthetic treatment plan that we need to install for our patient. So how to do a mock-up step by step. First we need to define the problem of the patient, the chief complaint, what is the patient complaining from. Then we need to take some pictures, clinical pictures, intraoral, extraoral. Then we need to take an impression for the upper jaw, for the lower jaw, combined with the bite registration, so the lab can combine the upper and the lower arch. Then the next step is the production of wax up, that the lab needs to cast the model and then to do a very precise and nice wax up based on the aesthetic analysis that we got. Following this, we need to prepare a kind of guide like a silicone mold or a vacuum tray, transparent vacuum tray, and this will help us to copy and transfer this wax up into the mouth of the patient, and then it's called mock-up. And then we need to make some rectifications to make sure that the patient is happy and satisfied, to validate this design and this anatomy of the tooth, combined with the biology of the gum and the functionality of the patient. And when this is okay, then we need to take an alginate impression and send it to the lab as the model that he needs to follow to create his aesthetic project and design. What product to use to do a mock-up? In fact, to do a mock-up, it depends on what is your support. If you are using a transparent vacuum tray, then you can use any flowable composite. It is preferable that it's a highly filled composite, like for instance a Gillian universal injectable or any other material that is filled above 65% by weight of fillers. Otherwise, so the light cure can penetrate through the vacuum tray. Otherwise, if you are using a putty, for instance, a polyvinyl siloxane, you can use a dual cure material because the light will not be able to penetrate. And what I love to use nowadays is the ExaClear. This is a very new product from GC that was launched like a couple of years ago. And this allows to combine the rigidity of a PVS silicone combined to the translucency or the transparency where the light can go through this material, and this allows to use either flowable composites or dual cure resin material for this. Few tips to succeed a perfect mock-up. First, we need to have an excellent wax up, very precise, very polished. The second step is to have a very precise way to copy or to make the impression for this wax up. To use a very precise silicone, you could combine, for instance, light and putty in order to have a very precise impression for this, or to use a product that has good precision. One very important tip also, once the impression tray or the silicone is done, you can cut using a blade some V shape following the gum shape in order to allow the excess material to flow out, so you can have less corrections and less finishing and polishing to do for this and have a better status of the mock-up. One final important thing is how long a mock-up is supposed to last. Usually when we do a mock-up, this is supposed to last for a few hours or even in the same session. If the patient has a relative with him that is influencing his choice or his decision, then we can place the mock-up and then remove it a few minutes or an hour later. The worst case scenario is to send the patient with the mock-up. If you place it in the afternoon, then the patient comes the following day and you will remove the mock-up. The only thing that's very important is to inform the patient that he must not consume or drink any colored food or liquid, and be very gentle while biting and eating to avoid hard things like nuts, like crackers or things like this, because don't forget that the mock-up is not bonded on the teeth. The mock-up is just placed on the teeth, so they are kind of fragile material and they are used for a very short period.